But because we are human, we are also subject to emotions, emotions that may enhance or hamper our training. This is where the art of distance running comes in. This program turns to the help of Dr. Eric Anderson, a sports psychologist and sports sociologist at the University of California, Irvine. Coach Anderson has coached high school and collegiate runners for 18 years and has worked with a number of world-class distance runners. This video is largely based on his book, Training Games, but also draws from his newest book, The Runner's Doctrine.
Hi, my name's Eric Anderson. I'm a cross-country and track coach, and I'm also a sports psychologist and sports sociologist at the University of California, Irvine. This program is designed to enable you to make distance training, whether it be for track or cross-country, more enjoyable. It's broken into two parts. The first is training games, things that you can do while running to make training more enjoyable. And the second is tactics and strategies, so that you can not only have better performances, but that your athletes will have more fun while actually racing. I hope you enjoy the program and that you learn to be a more creative, dynamic coach. Coaching distance runners is both a science and an art. Unfortunately, far too many coaches only pay attention to the science of distance running, assigning well-crafted interval workouts or distance runs that fit the training pyramid, but that don't necessarily fit the athlete's emotional needs. In other words, we spend a lot of time figuring out how to get our athletes to run faster without asking our athletes whether they're enjoying what they're doing. Because a well-crafted interval workout is of little value if the athlete's level of motivation is insufficient to do it with effort. This video is designed to help you understand and think creatively about how you can make distance running and training for track as well more enjoyable. It gives different types of runs, different things you can do while running, and hopefully will serve as the foundation for you to come up with all kinds of ideas on your own. We also turn to talk about racing and the things you can do in a race and the tactical things that you can do in a race to make racing more enjoyable as well. I think you'll find it interesting and hopefully it'll give you some new ideas. It's important to remember that distance runners, and in fact this is true of all athletes at all levels, junior high, high school, and collegiate athletes, most of them join the team for fun and recreation, as well as health and physical fitness. Most of them don't join thinking that they're going to be a superstar or that they're going to become a world-class athlete. How many of you joined this team because you thought you were going to be a world-class distance runner? Raise your hand. How many of you joined this team because you thought that the team would be fun and you'd meet new friends and have good times? Raise your hand. All right, you see, athletes join teams for fun. Unfortunately, and again, this is true of all sports, the number one reason athletes drop off of teams is that it ceases to become fun. If we focus too much on winning, and don't get me wrong, competition can be and is fun, but if we focus too much on winning, then coaching and training becomes more of a job than it does something that we do for fun. So hopefully this video will help you keep the high level of training while also making it a more enjoyable sport. The first rule to making things fun is variety. Variety is the spice of life. Whatever we can do to make a run more enjoyable, different, exciting, whether we take the same old boring run and somehow reinvent it, or whether we come up with something new and unique, the point is variety. A coach can keep his athletes or her athletes on their toes by not telling them what the exact workout will be that day, perhaps only saying, yes, we're going to do some form of a distance run, and then surprising the athletes with something new and fresh and exciting each day. And this video will give you all kinds of ideas from what you can use as a springboard to develop ideas of your own. All too often, we just tell our runners that they should do this run or run that loop. But a really fun way to spice it up is to make an objective to the run. And we can do that in all kinds of ways. There's about 100 things you can do to make an objective to the run. For example, you might have your athletes run to the local mall and pick out a Christmas present for the coach. Or if you're lucky enough to have a fruit tree in your neighborhood or in your town, have the athletes run to the apple tree and grab an apple and eat an apple and come back. One thing you can do to make an objective to the run is have them run someplace to get something to drink or an ice cream on a hot day. Have them run in, grab an ice cream, stretch for a little bit, and then run back. Some other ways you can make runs more enjoyable is to give an objective to the run. You can, for example, on a hot day, a hot summer's day, is scout out 3 or 4 pools and have your runners run from one pool to the next, jump in, hop out, get out, run to the next pool. Or another idea, if you're lucky enough to have an animal shelter or a dog pound or even a veterinarian's office in your city, is have your athletes run, they can bring their own leashes or get them at the vet. Have your athletes run to the shelter and walk the dogs. Walk the dogs for 15 minutes and then turn around and run back. This, of course, is good for the dogs as well as it is for your athletes. Or if you're lucky enough to have access to a school van or even a city transportation, have your athletes hop on the bus and have the bus take them 8 miles out of town and have them run back rather than doing a 4 mile out and 4 mile back. Just have them take public transportation. Sometimes you may just bring a $1.50, and that way they get to run an 8 mile point-to-point course rather than the same old boring 4 mile loop. Another way to spice up a distance run is to do what I call storyline. Your first athlete starts off with the first paragraph of a story, and then the next athlete adds either a sentence to it or a paragraph to it, and you continue to do that throughout the duration of the distance run, and it creates quite a story sometimes. So Brian, we're going to start you off on this run. You're going to add to, it's a dark and stormy night.
All right, got it.
One of the things you can do on a long distance run is simply give your athletes a deck of cards, and they can play any card game while they run. You can even bet. You can give each athlete so many push-ups to start with, or perhaps negative push-ups, and then at the end of the run, depending on who's won and who's lost, they have to pay their debt by doing push-ups. As dorky as it sounds, and as wacky as they are, it's really quite fun on long distance runs for your team to do drill team style maneuvers. Now, they may not want to do them when there's lots of people looking, but basically what you have them do is you have them create patterns as they run, shapes, diamonds or squares. You have them move in and out and go in between each other, or you have them do the wave as they run, and just anything they can do that's goofy to break the run up and to make it fun, and to have sometimes you also have a leader emerge when you do these. One game you can play is called Follow the Fearless Friendly Leader. You can use it as a distance run, or you can use it as an interval run. You allow each athlete to lead for a designated period of time. It can be 30 seconds or 2 minutes. And their objective is to be fearless. That is to see that they're supposed to find new territory. They're supposed to scout out new places to run. They're supposed to go over objects or through things or through water or bushes or whatever they want. But they're also supposed to be friendly, and this means they're not supposed to, jump off roofs or do anything that could endanger the athletes. And each athlete can do whatever they want for their designated period of time, and when their time is up, another athlete gets to take over and do exactly what they want. One thing about Follow the Fearless Friendly Leader is if you're doing it in the hills, you can have the athletes who like to run hard up the hills. They can bring the team out towards the hills, and then the athletes who don't want the hills, they try to take their 2 minutes to get you away from the hills, so you can have these sort of little squabbles that go on that actually play out to be a lot of fun. This next run I call Search and Run, and the object is for them to find the clues that I've given to them on a piece of paper, to answer the questions that I have given to them on a piece of paper. Now, the directions in this will send them all over town, and they'll have to perhaps collect samples from something to bring back to me, and things will be coded. For example, if I want them to go to Golden West Street, I might say, go to the street that's opposite of Silver North, or Silver East, I guess that would be. And then they have to sort of figure out what does that mean. And so things are coded, but not too difficult to where they can't figure them out. Now, what you can do is you can put the right answer in an envelope and seal the envelope. In case they can't figure it out, they have to open the envelope, they get the clue, and of course then they're deducted points. So what I'm going to do is I want to divide you all up into 3 groups. You're all going to have the same task, and you're going to try to beat the other group by running to your selected clues and, getting them all before the next team does. So if the last number, the last digit in your phone number ends in a 0 through 3, go out over here. If the last digit in your phone number is a 4, 5, 6, over here. And if the last digit is a 7, 8, or 9, right on over here. I like to divide groups so that it's not always by age or grade or gender, just totally randomly. And then what I would do is I would give them all the piece of paper with the clues on it and maybe stagger them by a minute or two so that they can't feed off of each other. Okay, so on this piece of paper are clues, and you've got to answer those clues and go to the place and do what the piece of paper says. If you do this before that team does and that team does, then you win. You guys ready?
Yeah. Ready.
Set, go. Just read the clues. Okay, a fun way to make an easy day run or recovery run is to do what I call a predict your time run. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to collect all of their watches so they don't have the ability to time it, and I'm going to give an award for perhaps an apple or something to the athlete who comes closest to hitting whatever I designate. So let's say I want them to do a 20-minute recovery run. I'll collect all their watches. Watches. Any more? Anybody see one, hide one? Anybody hiding one, yeah? All right, now, you're gonna run for 20 minutes, slow and easy. It's just a recovery run. And when you get back, your job is to try to predict in your head where that 20-minute mark is. Whoever comes to me and says now, and is closest to 20 minutes, is gonna get whatever reward I decide to give them, which they don't know until the end. Ready, set, good luck. In utilizing some of my techniques, and of course creating techniques of your own, it's important to know that competition can be fun. The competition is actually more fun when it's a close game or a close race than when one athlete is absolutely killing the other. So one way to make tempo runs or workouts or intervals more fun is to stagger them. Generally I do is I stagger them from the slowest to the fastest, and you can do this either in individuals or by groups. And theoretically, if you time it properly, all of the athletes should finish at the exact same time. So every athlete has the opportunity to win the race, and it gives your slower athletes much more agency and feeling that they can win, and then the faster athletes, of course, have to pull them all in to try to win it. It really makes for quite an exciting event. All right, gentlemen, you ready? Set, go. Ready, set, go. Staggering comes in handy for not only tempo runs and strength runs, but also for distance runs. For example, if you have all of your athletes doing, say, an 8-mile distance run, you can have your slowest athlete start first, send them along their way, spend a little time talking to the other athletes before you send them, and then theoretically, all of your athletes will be back to the locker room at the exact same time. All right, guys, we're going to do the 8-mile distance run. Let's do a coach's loop, and while you're at it, there's some apples out there. Grab some, maybe bring one back for me. And we'll see you guys when you're done. Have a good run. All right, you're going to give them a few minutes head start so that you guys all finish at the same time. So how's everybody doing?
Good. Awesome. Good.
Another way that you can make competition more even is to stagger your groups. You can stagger them in any way you desire, but you might, for example, start with the slowest group and then go to the fastest, so that theoretically they all hit the finish line at the same time. So today I've got 3 groups staggered for 800-meter repeats. Group number 1, ready? Go! Group number 2 to the line. Ready, go. Group number 3. Go. You can also do this with individual athletes. If these guys are running 400-meter repeats, then you can have them go, and you can do it in different time. It doesn't have to be that each athlete gets 5 seconds or something of that nature. They can be tailored so that the coach designs it so they all finish at the exact same time. All right, Tyler, you ready?
Yep.
Set, go. Danny, go. Alex, go. Ian, go. You can even combine different interval distances. For example, if they're running 400 meters, I can have my 300-meter runners over there who are doing 300-meter intervals jump in after they come through the first 100. Okay, ready, set, bang.